Hello everybody, I'm going to start on part 4 of night signs, and we'll move on through our constellations. Now this next one here is Cassiopeia, which is shaped like the Paleo-Hebrew letter Shin, so I didn't really have to redraw it, and that's one of the reasons which it kind of set me on the path to making this book anyway. Is because I noticed not only the Great Summer Triangle looked like the letter Dalet and the Northern Cross looked like the letter Taw, I also noticed that Cassiopeia looked like the Paleo-Hebrew letter Shin without having to redraw any of them. So I'll start on this now. Okay, and this right here is the constellation Cassiopeia, in case you are not aware of what it looked like. And it's shaped just like the Paleo-Hebrew letter Shin. So, you know, that naturally caught my attention. Okay, then next to it was Cepheus. And that's the way it's normally drawn right there. Kind of looks like a squat church steeple. It's supposed to represent some type of king that they try to tie into being Jesus Christ. But as you can see from that, I just simply redrew Cepheus. And the letter on the right is the letter Aleph, which is a picture of the head of an ox. Of course, Cassiopeia. And then as you can read right here, Aleph Shin. Now remember, this right towards left. Aleph Shin means fiery. So that's what I noticed, and I knew I was really on to something writing these in Paleo-Hebrew that God put in our night sky. Like I said, writing came from God. God gave it to man. Okay, now this picture right here, of course, there's the Northern Cross, and I put this dotted line across there because that's the Great Summer Triangle. See the dotted line? But I also noticed that the Proto-Canaanite letter Dalet was shaped like a fish. Of course, this is the constellation Aquilla, just like my first name. It's supposed to be an eagle, but it's not. It was just simply the tail of the fish. And then the Northern Cross, you can see it setting up straight there. And it's inside the Great Summer Triangle. Well, this means door. The triangle means door. So, in word picture, door of the cross. And the letter Taw means sign. It's the last letter in the Paleo-Hebrew alphabet. And of course, Dalet, Jesus said, I am the door. And of course, he was crucified upon the cross. And this together, whether you write the fish or you just draw it as a triangle, either way, it spells law. It's a dot, kind of a D-A-H-T sound. So that was rather interesting. And of course, this is all real close to the North Star. Okay, let me turn the pages. I've got an injured left arm from lifting weights, and it's really difficult for me to hold things. I'm 66 years old, and I was overdid myself lifting weights, and I did a lot of damage to my left arm. But now this one is distorted some. This is the letter Het, and it's normally called Hercules, which is ridiculous. And probably, let me redraw this right on here, kind of like what I think it looked like before. This is moved out of place some. Okay, I just penciled that in. This is distorted, as you can see. I think, you know, around, I believe the Earth is around 6,000 years old. I have absolutely no reason to believe it's not. So this became our letter H, and it's a picture of a fence. See how I've got this sideways? Now, watch. See? Now, of course, this is, think of this as being huge, and a man, you know, standing here, and this is a fence. The depth of it going into a fence or wall. It's to protect. That's what it's a symbol of in Paleo-Hebrew. Okay, then let's see, one more here. Okay, and this right here, of course, the letter Vav means and. There's a Vav before the wall there that I probably should have showed you. Well, I'll show it to you on the cover when I get through. So this is the letter Gimel, which is the heel of Christ, right here. And right here, if you can see that, that's a circle with a cross inside of it. It's called Serpent's Caput, which is or Serpent's Caput, which is the constellation. This is the letter Tate. This is the letter Gimel. This is a symbol of well, it's the first letter in Tov. Tov means good in Hebrew, and this letter by itself can kind of act just like an adjective if it's attached to a word. Of course, the letter Hate that I showed a while ago in this letter Gimel spelled the word Hag, which means festival. Festival. Okay. So, that's pretty much it. Now let me turn this like this and let's read this. Okay, this is Zion, like I said. It's a symbol for the Word of God. So it's kind of like a title. Then if we use this as a title, the Word of God, I read 12 other constellations. Does that ring a bell? What's so important about the number 12? Well, there's 12 tribes of Israel and there's 12 apostles. So if I just use this letter Zion as a title, like saying the Word of God, because this is Jesus. He's Yah. This spells Yah. Yud or Yod and Hey spell Yah in Paleo-Hebrew. This is a sharp two-edged sword coming out of his mouth, Revelation 1:16. Here's the handguard. Here's the handguard of the sword right here. So this reads, my mountain. It's backwards the way we would say it. We say my mountain, but in Hebrew they say mountain my. So this is basically my mountain is, which is an invisible word. So I have to go out in a cloud and get is, because the word is does not exist in Hebrew. Is in a. I got to go out again and get the letter A. It does not exist. Fiery law. Fiery law. There's law, remember. Whether you leave it as the Great Summer Triangle or the cross, either way, it doesn't matter. It's still going to work. This is the letter Vav, which I forgot a while ago. It means and. But it's also connected to these. The word and is connected to this Haggath. That's the letter Hey. It's a wall, okay? And it's the one that's been distorted. Some of these stars you can tell have moved some, obviously, since creation of time. Now this one here, the most. I'm sure at one time this star was here, this star was here over, this star was back over, and I showed you how I believe, and that's just my opinion for whatever it's worth. But, like I said, it's my mountain is in a fiery law and a good festival. Hag means festival. And this letter Tov is not only a symbol of good, it's like a humble festival, almost to the point of being a holy festival. And that's what it's talking about. All this is out of the Old Testament. Now, I love this part of it in reading it in Hebrew word picture form. My mountain is in a fiery law and a wall to bruise, that's a heel, Gimel, the head of the serpent. See how I mixed it? This part here, I flipped over and read it in Hebrew word pictures. As long as it's scriptural, that's all that matters. Like I said, Google Dr. Frank T. Seekins, Hebrew Word Pictures. Buy his books and learn this stuff. And then another great one, a good guy that I really like learning from is Jeff Benner. He's head of the Ancient Hebrew Research Center. Matter of fact, I have a Paleo Tanakh written in this type of Paleo language of the first 5 books of the Old Testament. And I study both of them's YouTubes all the time. And you're always learning when